So, and there are multiple authors in the house. I know that. I hope to have some book events for their books as well. And the things that we're going to offer you today are things that benefit from listening. So if side conversations could be put on hold for a moment, you can come back to them, but please, I'd like to have everybody find where you're going to be. Okay, thank you. I'm Mark Enslin. I wrote the first piece on the program in 1980. And just as a brief note, what I was thinking at the time was we usually think of clash and conflict as happening between people. And we have seen that a lot. There's also an aspect of clash and conflict that can happen within one person. Your sense of dignity might clash with your sense of ethics. Even your sense of survival might clash with your sense of what's the right thing to do. And so I wanted to explore this, and it's kind of like two characters who are in a conspiracy with each other, dealing with internal, that's also social conflict. And it's called Hoops Bent. The performers are Ben Roydell Ward, who is an amazing addition to the music environment of Champaign-Urbana, bassoonist, and Emmett Jackson, visiting from Chicago, another amazing performer, and I'm so glad that they're playing. Thank you.
Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, everybody. How y'all doing? All right. So I am going to share it's probably two pieces. One of them is called Construction of Injustice. This is from a book I wrote in 2010, right in the heart of a lot of the work that we were doing as CU citizens. So it's going to embody some of the work that we did during that time. So I hope you enjoy it. Construction of Injustice. Investing in lies and blaming the youth. Ruminate. Murder is designed to hide the truth. Murder is designed to hide the truth. Murder is designed to hide the truth. 5 deaths. 5 deaths in the Champaign County jails in less than 2 years. Inmates beaten and tased by officers/overseers. Is legal lynching the new scoop? Officer Yort escapes with a history of sexual misconduct and physical evidence of a rape. The response from his friends is political jargon. 13-year veteran Sergeant Myers repeatedly sends 50,000 volts of electricity into detained citizens and is rewarded with a plea bargain. Overcharging persists, and it's a damn shame. Obstruction of justice, obstruction of justice, obstruction of justice. Judge Heidi Ladd sentenced Terrell Layfield to 6 years in prison for giving a false name. Our condolences to the other 4 men, Marcus Edwards, Joseph Beavers, William Marshalls, and Quentin Larry, who died on Memorial Day weekend. Abuse of power. Thank you, sir. Abuse of power. Malicious prosecution as retribution, all to instill fear. Unequal protection under the law, and the message is clear. We do what the hell we want to do. And the same thing that happened to Amber Grohall, Patrick Thompson, Kewan Carrington can happen to you. For those of you who don't believe this piece, pick up your camcorder and start videotaping the police. Start tracking their actions on the streets in your community. Do some research and find out how many young females get raped by officers that are on duty. Rodney King and Amadou Diallo are just 2 of the obvious constructions of injustice. There's a long history of bogus cops receiving slaps on the wrist. Now Champaign County can add 4 more names to that growing list. But I guarantee you this, at some point the poor and repressed will get tired of this shit. There will be no respect for authority and no trust in the system. There will be mass civil unrest, and everyone will be a victim. Construction of injustice. So you know how some of us as artists, we look back and we're like, man, that was 16 years ago. And how I may have evolved or not on some of these things, or where our community is. But right now we can see what's happening in the streets and where people are with this current system. I will say this piece in response to what you said, Danielle. This is one of the shortest poems I've ever written. I don't even remember the title. Love is a revolution. Thank you. Oh, y'all like that? All right. What was the title again? Yeah. All right. Now this one is recent because I'm on this trip. Y'all heard me talk about Fanon a lot, and I read something in, I think it was in Wretched of the Earth, maybe in black skin, white mask. But it's dealing with this feeling that if you're, I know, Chris, we talked about some stuff today, but if you're not black in this society, you just won't understand this part of this. But you may understand what it is as a member of any other oppressed group. But I'm talking about that stare that you get. When somebody looks at you as if you don't belong, or you're not worthy, or something is wrong with you. But it's that look, that stare. Fuck your stare. Blotting out the sun. So we will fight in the shade. Thank you. All right, I don't know who's next. Am I supposed to call up the next poet? Miriam, you got it? All right, thank you all very much.
Next, we have a piece by Susan Parenti, and it's in the house. Music, morality, plot, and it's being played by Tanya Arazi-Combs, soprano, Kareth Livingood, flute, and Miriam Larson, flute.
If I take a kitty catty on my lap and it makes sounds, 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 will you clap? If I try to sing a very high note and don't quite make it, will you hooray for a nice try? I. The audience. This is the cold, unmoving eye of the audience. These are the Dumbo Jumbo ears. Show me. Show me. On the street, they see things that flop, that don't quite make it. Now, show me. The eyes say, wow, me. Things false, perfect, artificially, but officially artificial. It is the curtain, which is the soul of art. And when it opens,
Next up, we have Amir Ammons.
Hello, everyone. How are you all? Don't mind me. I am a little nervous, and I don't believe I can sing, but bear with me. I initially wrote this piece a while ago for kind of like my emotions around everything at the beginning of the genocide in Gaza. So this is titled Strange Fruit. Southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. When I close my eyes, letting the song be my guide, I can't help but cry. Escorted through the fog of my mind, I am stricken with bloody images. Those bulging eyes and a twisted mouth, haunted by the glee and heinous faces, family picnics for entertainment, a hanging. Breathe, for it's only the beginning. Those bloody images plague me, and while the Hague meets, those same heinous faces stand elated as bombs rain on babies. When I close my eyes, guided by the cry of a tortured soul, here is the fruit for the crows to pluck. I fold, failing to withhold tears seeking to be free. Images lay speckled through the fog like headstones. Gravely I crave the release from this horror. Black man hung, beat, burnt, bruised, laid a card for a souvenir or a mantelpiece. Mothers torn away from their souls, left hollow as their babies swing from trees like the gallows. Only crime is existence in a place where civility and humanity meet everyday resistance. Breathe. But it don't get no better. Bombs rain on Gaza like candlelight in the fog. The flames mantle, a collapsed building, and a little girl's claws. Heinous faces stand sadistic and smug, using ceasefire as a setup, committing more terror, leaving fathers to hold a lifeless child, families erased from the ledger. Strange fruit litters the expanse of my mind. Mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters. Here is a strange and bitter cry.
Okay. Hi, my name is Beth Simpson. When I first came here, I was known as Beth Tubb, Tubb, and Susan Parenti thought that was my name for like 3 years. Whoops. Okay, I will. You know, if you think someone that microphone works better, then that'd be great to move it up. I don't care. Sorry. I can use one hand. Oh.
Yeah, with the stand.
Well,
Going on this side.
Nope, this one. Good. All right, I got poems and I got songs. What's up? What's up? I love hearing this book launch and hearing the story of the School for Design Society. Infatuation. Oh, but by the way, this came from School for Designing Society. There was a guy, Michael Holloway. He every week he would make it very on time. You better be on time. Okay. So infatuation. Skyrocket starts with a match. A brief kiss will pair up
and air, fire starts to catch. Flight begins with a hatch, whether feathered when done and regaling in sun, or opened by lifting a match. Spring begins with a patch, a sloppy brown rift that forms in what was normally snug, a warm place in a white rug which was storms. What's up? It's okay, you don't have to work. This has no night all. Antissa, almost there. Who wants to help me make the bread? Count your chickens before they hatch. Make hay while the sun shines. Sleep before tired. Kiss before lonely. Stop before too late. Did it get around before it came around? When winter came, the grasshopper had no food and found himself starving to death, while the ants ate from the store of corn they had put by during the summer. Who wants to help me eat the bread? When winter came, the ants had plenty of food and found themselves being eaten by the grasshopper. Patient. Well, this is a song. I think it was written in part for something with which Mark Enslin and Susan Parenti had poked me at it. I'll do it twice. It's called Violence. I Violence.
Meadow? Yeah. Meadow Jones, everybody.
Hi, friends. Can you hear me? Yes. Am I doing this right? Yes. Okay, good. So, I call this teleology. I don't know what that means. Yay. I think it means something about the causes of how things happen. But what I really wanted to do was take an opportunity to praise Elizabeth and Danielle. So yay. First of all, momentous work. I came back from Ann Arbor, where I was at a Zen retreat and facilitating an arts and writing workshop at this retreat. And there was a big argument about whether or not I should stay, or I should leave, or I should come here and do this. And I said, I have to come back for this. This is the ground in which I grow, and this is my home. And so I want to speak to that a little bit. The mythology and memories of my friendship with Danielle are that we met when we were 15, which is over 35 years ago, on top of a U-Haul. No joke, on top of a U-Haul. So as a lot of mythologies and memories go, most of that is true. What's in question is whether or not we were 15, but we definitely were on top of a U-Haul. That is where we met. I don't know where I met Elizabeth, but our friendship was forged in my memory in a chrysalis. And I say that literally, not metaphorically. I could explain later, but in a darkened chrysalis, we forged our friendship. But Danielle and I met on top of a U-Haul when we were 15. We were writing a play. I'm pretty sure it was called Groovy Group Soup, which was about the perils and pleasures of collective living. It was a bit prophetic, because later we would figure this out. And this was in Gainesville, Florida. So how did we all get here, is the question. So I like to say that my friends went away to college and I went away to waitressing. And this was the first beginning of the class division between us. But things change. I went away to waitressing, but Danielle came back for me. So in 1997, Danielle found me at the Across Town Repertory Theater, where we had done that play. We had maintained our friendship all those years. She had gone through college, I'd gone through waitressing. I mean, it was its own thing. So there I was at the Across Town doing the lights, and she said, I need you to move to Urbana, Illinois. What? I need you to move to Urbana, Illinois to be part of the School for Designing Society. Now, I had met these people in this project earlier. They had come to town, and I was at the Civic Media Center, which was a media center before the IMC movement. We had had some local media centers, and I was at the Civic Media Center where you do the things, and she had come in, and she'd come in with Mark and Joe Futrell and Susan Parenti and Lisa Fay and Jeff Glassman, I think, and Herbert Brune was there, yes, back in the day, and they had come in. Danielle ran across the room and leaped into my arms, and I carried her around. This is how we used to roll. I kept her on my hip, and we spent all that time together, and we went to see this performance of Herbert's called Drummage. Changed my life. So Danielle tells me that I need to move to Urbana, Illinois to be part of the School for Designing a Society. And I tell her that I really want to do feminist performance art. And like all myth and memories, she tells me that's what we do. And that is some of what we do. That was not a lie. But we also made the world together, in conversation together, sometimes in chrysalises, and sometimes in other places, and sometimes here. And then I remember after we went to Washington, and we were like, we need an IMC here. That's what needs to happen. Like, all of these things happen in conversation with each other. And I can look around this room and see many of you remember, maybe not where we met, but how our friendship was formed. And it was formed by making the world together. And I bet if you look around at each other, you will think the same things. So I came back for this because this is where everything is. I want to read two short pieces. One is a piece I wrote about the move here. It's actually it's an excerpt from it. Lorian Carsey and I moved up here at Danielle's request, and we never left. I said I would come for 6 months and go back to the Women's Health Collective that I was a part of, and we never left. I mean, I left for a while, but we always came back because it was the most interesting project to be part of, and because we were making this world. So this is a piece about moving with Lorian. It's called Swallowing Lilies. Swallowing lilies, we left the dirty South behind, passed our last cigarette between hand to hand, lips parted, laugh, tobaccoed tongue smoothing down gullet and gull. Sun-weary, travel-torn, tired, she cut her hair out the open window, clumsy cuts and dull blades, waist-length tresses chipped away like axe to live oak. Ash blonde billowed away in clumped clouds. We wound our way north, West, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. The dog slept silent, paws folded across the contents of our cramped car. That dog, long since gone, given back to a love long since left. Her hair, once shorn, grows again, all now modeled memory. Light comes late, leaves early, painting pavement in Palomino snow. Thank you. I also want to read something else, and this is from my forthcoming monograph, which I still have not written, even though I've been given funding to do it. Just so you know, it's taking a minute. I will say watching Danielle and Elizabeth struggle with this book for years has been both reassuring and daunting, but it is mentioned in Danielle and Elizabeth's book, so I feel I must finish it. It must happen. So this is from chapter 6, called Intermission. Gentle reader, I tell you this, it is not the distraction that causes the delay in this dissertation, it's the delete. It's not the spot, it's the retreat. It's not the words that are missing, it's the coherence. Language falls away. I don't know what to say. He asks me, and what do the doctors say about the ghosts? They say nothing, I reply. What is there to say? Fixed delusion, post-traumatic psychosis, borderline personality disorder, schizoaffective disorder. Hold on. I know better. This is where translation fails. It's not between sign, signifier, signified, not between speaker, reader, record, but between memory, moment, and madness. This gesture, her fingers along her face, the disgust and horror, remembering then the ghost. But what came before the corporal? Has her face melted? Is that what she's signing in the mirror? Is that what she's signing? Is she remembering the psychic injury that left the now imagined wound, this speaking wound? It speaks through her to me, shape to sound, words to my mouth, sign, signifier, signified. I count the number of doors through which I must pass to make my way back to her incarceration. She is a kind of prisoner there. I park and pass through the frozen lot. There are lions at the gate, guardians at the door. I pull my identification from my wallet, pronounce myself a free citizen. I have come to this land of people kept as prisoners, some locked away for life for their transgressions. This transgression of a somatic response to the structure of violence. The simple transgression of public presentation of madness in modernity. I have seen them there, and I recognize them upon my return. They may or may not know me. Another face without a name, a specter that passes freely, a ghost of another world allowed behind the gate, past the guards. I remember them from their world and carry what I can. I wait for the guard to come through the locked door. Front desk to downtown. Front desk to downtown. An escort is needed to A1. I know the drill. Legal documents returned, pockets empty, valuables locked up, pen, purse, pills, billfold, keys, ID, small metal lockers, downtown to front desk, message received. Sign, the words on the walkie-talkie, signifier, the waiting, signified, the woman between the worlds, I wait. The hospital guards arrive, hands are empty, pockets bare. I'm prepared, nothing to hide, nothing to give, nothing to gain. Escorted through each locked door, each guarded gate, one and then the other. 5 locked doors until I reach her and the others. Each time I have found her there, she's wept upon my arrival. Each time I've left her there, empty and dead. She anticipates my presence with dread. All feelings kept hidden, safe from view from the other prisoners, the guards, from the ghosts, but her body betrays her when she sees me, and she shakes with open emotion. Our hands begin, gestures, language, laden, heavy, and heartfelt. Silent words, visible gestures, indescribable affect. I wait for her on the interior, and one of the other women approaches me. May I tell you stories from my life history? She asks, and I am ungenerous. You're welcome to join me, I tell her. I wait for the open door. Those of us with citizenry in the other world, the holding cell for specters pass between glass and guard. I can't give her my intentions today. I'm waiting for my sister. I can't smuggle her story out with me, the stories she wishes were free. She wants to tell me that she too was once a citizen of this other world. She was once a part of the tribe, of living before locked away here neatly and discreetly, maybe forgotten by her family. Not today. I'm carrying too much heavy ephemera. I'm already carrying my prisoner with me. She thinks her food is poisoned, I say apologetically. I have nothing to apologize for. She asks my companion if she might pray for her. This is all before. My companion says she doesn't believe in God. I think that is a luxury of the protected. I interpret for my sister differently. Of course she will pray for you. She tells me that God hates her, is angry with her, angry with her. I have carried nothing with me but rage and regret. Each night the guards call, "Can you calm her down?" they say to me. I repeat myself, gentle reader. The speaking wound speaks for itself. This is not my story, but their burning blister, a war-weary wound. It oozes out the evidence, stuffed and staunch, effluvia of the other. Can you calm her? I speak to her in the night through an interpreter, awakened in my bed in my homeland. Go back to bed, I tell her. Let me speak to your guards again. I do not trust their aspartame smiles. You are as culpable as I am, as complicit as the rest. We are part and parcel of this machinery. I say, if my sister, your prisoner, your patient, were a Vietnam vet, you would not set a man in with fatigues, with a gun strapped to his chest, into his room at night. I listen to the silence on the other end of the line. You see, we understand war. The Vietnam vet, the war wound, male hysteria, shell shock. I wait, my voice sweet and obedient. My affect open, the guard grunts in understanding. Well, imagine that my sister, your patient, is a Vietnam vet, and you are sending a camouflage soldier into her cell at night with his weapon at the ready. But the weapon that is ready for a woman in post-traumatic psychosis from rape is the guard, his very gender, his camouflage, the facade of kindness. Maybe tomorrow you can send a female nurse in to check on her when she sleeps, and you won't have to call me. As a deaf woman locked in a mental ward, maybe she'll be less startled if a female nurse were to find her there tentatively asleep, barely unconscious, waiting for the next attack. The guard grunts agreement. It'll happen again the next night, and the next. A new guard, a new nurse, the same story. Can you calm her? I smuggle the stories out in my empty pockets, open hands, hollow affect. I empty myself of my own affect, blood, water, waste. I carry the heavy ephemera out, a smuggler, refugee tales with no home. Thank you. So, thank you. This is why I came back, and why I keep coming back, and why we've left no one behind. After I moved here, we moved my sister and my parents, and Lorian moved her sister and her mother, and then we moved more people. And we won't leave any of us out as we look around. We think about those who are not here in this room, but we carry them with us. So thank you for carrying me too.
bully when you talk that thing. You get in front of much all the time. So please keep talking so goddamn thick. Talking to just start the wood shop time talking thick. Have this and imagine out. Living, work, no, eating, no.
Sorry about your new job. Sorry about your new job. Why can't you acknowledge me? It's not my fault. I would look at that pile and I would throw it all away. I guess there's someone who wants it somewhere who uses wire. I think, in my imagination, having a body, you know, living in a body, like being, actually being a body, must be a hell of a lot of fun. You never know what's gonna happen. Do you feel that way too? Does it, like, hurt? It must be difficult having a body, 'cause you have to, like, take care of it all the time? Is it difficult? The way you move while you work is so incredibly fascinating. I so love watching you. I love watching you while you work. Real objects for real with everyday routine. I mean, every day. What's the thing I can't wrap my head around is the way you thrive under the worst conditions. You know what I mean? And hands. Hands. The way, the way, it's like a miracle, the way you use those hands. You keep going on. You have the most amazing resilience. I don't understand it. I'm learning all the time. I really am. Do you care about me? Like, at all? You're a fine person. You know that? You should know that you are a fine person.
A poem, Three-Stream Woodchuck. By Michael Holloway. Bridges slow those talking in fog so thick. Time cups a dark atmosphere of laughing. Dead fish do not imagine a shallow point of land thin to earless listening. Work is ahead, eating what you could cleave, awakening eyes melt into loving. Dead pain could thin to flash fear of loving, awakening to imagine a thick point of expanding dark smoke to cleave bridges of passive eating and laughing. Time can only melt such hard listening. Work unopens talking to shrink the shallow. Point blank pleasure eating is less shallow work for those whose dark expanse of loving bridges what you imagine listening. Dead echoes melt into the air, a thick awakening of talking and laughing. Time breathes soft, thin slices that fall or cleave. Bridges melt incommodiously, cleave time, and then imagine layers of shallow dead poking through dark syncoptic laughing. Point toward talking, sinfulest loving. Work ineffably grows thin and wears thick, awakening, eating, and listening. Dead are talking with no one listening. Awakening to dark moon milk cleave, point and imagine withering the thick bridges that span thin curved ponds of shallow time. Trees on a hill, eating and loving, work out the word melt of silent laughing. Point of arrival, thin clinker laughing, work struggles, imagine lips listening, bridges swivel on dark jade green loving, dead bled to bulla eating tata cleave, awakening liver flames, melt shallow time, soot wasted talking so goddamn thick. Laughing bridges, dark woodchuck time, talking thick. Dead, listening, imagine thin point. Loving, work, melt, eating, awakening. Cleave!
Well, there's a little set change going on. I could take the moment to say a few words about the piece. So a friend of mine and of many of us, Tamor Sullivan, had been giving a recital in New York, a solo alto saxophone recital. And I noticed of my piece that he played and of the other 4 pieces on the concert, was just one saxophone on stage, Tamor. I think because he's such a virtuoso, we all had this idea, what should we write for Tamor? Well, obviously we should write many things and have him play them all at the same time. My piece, I think at one point, he's playing 8 different lines at the same time. And as the concert went on and Tamor was doing this amazing performance, it struck on me that we had all sort of moved into that corner. And I'm not disowning that corner at all, but we were all kind of there. And so we have Tamor alone on the stage. This concert was at the Flea Theater, so it was actually a theater, theatrical stage, like this. And I thought, here we have Tamor, we have one body, one person, one saxophone. We're all watching him for an hour, but everything that he's playing is some chamber orchestra piece in the sky of our imagination. Every piece is a piece for 18 players, and he's doing it. So there's this imaginary piece in the background, which he miraculously, with his virtuosity, can sort of make happen in front of us. But it occurred to me, well, we're missing this. We're missing just him, one person on the stage. We're missing a person, his instrument, his breath. What's a different kind of virtuosity where we just focus on that? And I think it goes back to this question of why a book? Reading a book is entering that space, entering a slow space where your thought process matters, where your breath matters, whether your thinking matters. And so we can really focus on that. After Tamar played the piece that you're about to hear now, Black Box, I said, I think the next step for this piece, when you're focused on yourself, what you're thinking, how you're feeling, when you're focused on the moment, this is actually a good space to try to be together with another person, where you can focus together. You could read this book together with somebody else. You could be asking the question, what does this sentence mean? And together, you'll find more meanings there. That's kind of what happens with this piece when two people play it at the same time, which is how you're going to hear it now. So this is Black Box, and you had asked me what's the meaning of Black Box. It's, the book is there, the reader is there, but we don't know what's going to come out. That's the black box. So all of us with this book, we're the other end of the black box. We're going to make what happens come out. So that's the title of the piece. And you'll want to enter into that slow space where you're really focused on your breath. And Hyena, it's about 8 minutes long.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Please give it up for all the performers who gave their time. So, we have an amazing gallery gathering in room 102, which is right off the lobby, and a bunch of appetizers from Siam Terrace, vegetarian and meat. So if you'd like to join us in that space, that would be great. There will be books there as well, and we can sign in that space.